Hello everyone, today I am going to bring the audio book of Think and Big by Abraham. This is a step-by-step tool for top achievers. Everyone wants to become successful, isn't it? But can we become a successful person by just thinking about it? So this is a guidebook for those who want to become a successful person. You want to note down the important points while I am reading. So let's get started. Proceed. Success does not mean an absence of problems. It is overcoming problems. Success is not measured by how high we go up in life, but how many times we bounce back when we fall down. Have you ever wondered why some people are more successful than others? It is no secret. They simply think and act more effectively. They have mastered the principles of success. Positive behavior comes effortlessly to them because they have internalized the success principles. Successful persons accept responsibility and hold themselves accountable for their actions and decisions. This book can empower you to achieve your goals and live a meaningful life. You might have heard of the power of positive thinking, but have you ever heard of the power of negative thinking? Power of positive thinking empowers you with the willpower to succeed. Power of negative thinking empowers you with want power to fail. What kind of book is this? In one sense, this book is a construction manual. It describes the tools you will need for success and offers blueprints to help you build a successful and rewarding life. In a second sense, it is a cookbook. It lists the ingredients, the principles you will need to follow to become successful and gives you the recipe for mixing them in the correct proportions. But above all, this is a guidebook, a step-by-step how-to book that will take you from dreaming about success to unlocking your potential for success. How to read this book? This book will empower you with time-tested principles, which if applied properly can help you to achieve lifetime success. But the concepts in this book cannot be absorbed by casual browsing or by gulping the whole book down in one reading. It should be read slowly and carefully, one chapter at a time. Don't move on to the next chapter until you are sure you understand every concept in the previous chapter. Use this as a workbook. Write marginal notes to yourself. Use the highlighter as you read and mark those words or sentences or paragraphs that seem vital or especially applicable to you. As you read, discuss the concepts in each chapter with a spouse or partner or with a close friend. A second opinion from someone who knows your strengths and weaknesses can be especially helpful. Start an action plan. One of the purposes of this book is to help you create an action plan for the rest of your life. If you have never created an action plan, it defines 3 things. First one, what you want to achieve. Second one, how you expect to achieve it. Third one, target date to achieve it. As you read this book, keep a notebook handy, divided into 3 sections. Your goals, the stages in which you plan to reach them, and a timetable for success. By the time you finish reading this book, your notebook will be the foundation on which you can build a new life. The principles in this book are universal. They are applicable in any situation, organization or country. As Plato said, truths are eternal. Throughout the book, I have used masculine gender only for the purpose of ease in writing. The principles apply to both genders and are based on the premise that most people fail not because of lack of ability or intelligence, but because of lack of desire, direction, dedication and discipline. This revised edition clarifies and elaborates many concepts. It contains a detailed step-by-step action plan along with the author suggestions for the chapter on subconscious mind in order to implement the concepts explained in the book. The revised edition not only explains the principles of success but also how to implement them. So we can move on to the first chapter, importance of attitude. Ability teaches us how we do. Motivation determines why we do, and attitude decides how well we do. There was a man who made his living selling balloons at a fair. He had balloons of many different colors, including red, yellow, blue and green. Whenever business was low, he would release a helium-filled balloon into the air. When the children saw the balloon go up, they all wanted one. They would come up to him, buy a balloon and his sales would go up. All day he continued to release a balloon whenever sales were slow. One day the balloon man felt someone tugging at his jacket. He turned around and a little boy asked, "If you release a black balloon, will that also fly?" Moved by the boy's concern, the man replied gently, "Son, it is not the color of the balloon. It is what's inside that makes it go up." The same principle applies to life. It's what's inside that counts, and what's inside of us that makes us go up is our attitude. William James of Harvard University said, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind." Most of us have heard of the power of positive thinking, but very few have heard of the power of negative thinking. They both are very powerful, but take us in totally opposite directions. Just the way positive thinking empowers people to achieve new heights, negative thinking propels people towards self-destruction. Your attitude contributes to success. A success attributed to Harvard University found that when a person gets a job or a promotion, 85% of the time it is because of his attitude, and only 15% of the time because of intelligence and knowledge of specific facts and figures. Isn't it surprising then that almost 100% of education dollars go to teach facts and figures, which account for only 15% of success in life? You Can Win is all about that 85% of success. Attitude is the most important word in the English language. It applies to every sphere of life, including one's personal and professional life. Can an executive be a good executive without a good attitude? Can a student be a good student without a good attitude? Can parents, teachers, salesperson, employers, or employees be good in their roles without a good attitude? The foundation of success, regardless of your chosen field, is attitude. If attitude is such a critical factor in success, shouldn't we examine our attitude towards life and ask how our attitude will affect our lives? Acres of diamonds. Hafiz was a farmer in Africa who was happy and content. He was happy because he was content. He was content because he was happy. One day, a wise man came and told him about the glory of diamonds and the power that goes along with them. The wise man said, "If you had a diamond the size of your thumb, you could buy your own city. If you had a diamond the size of your fist, you could probably buy your own country." And then the wise man left. That night, Hafiz couldn't sleep. He was unhappy and he was discontented. He was unhappy because he was discontented, and discontented because he was unhappy. The next morning, Hafiz made arrangements to sell his farm, took care of his family, and went off in search of diamonds. He looked all over Africa and couldn't find any. He looked all through Europe and couldn't find any. By the time he got to Spain, he was emotionally, physically, and financially broke. He was so disheartened that he threw himself in the Barcelona River and committed suicide. Back home, the person who had brought his farm was watering the camels at the stream that ran through the farm. Across the stream, the rays of the morning sun hit a stone and made it sparkle like a rainbow. He thought the stone would look good in his living room. He picked up the stone and put it on his mantelpiece. That afternoon, the wise man came and saw the stone sparkling. He asked, "Is Hafiz back?" The new owner said, "No, why do you ask?" The wise man said, "Because that is a diamond. I recognize one when I see one." The man said, "No, that's just a stone I picked up from the stream. Come, I'll show you. There are many more." They went and picked some samples and sent them for analysis. Sure enough, the stones were diamonds. They found that the farm was indeed covered with acres and acres of diamonds. What is the moral of this story? There are many morals. First one, when our attitude is right, we realize that we are all walking on the acres of diamond. Opportunities are always under our feet. We don't have to go anywhere. Second one, when we don't know how to recognize opportunity, it could slap us on our face and we would still not be able to recognize it. All we need to do is to learn to recognize opportunities. People who don't know how to recognize opportunities complain of noise when they knock. Fourth one, lost opportunities are easier recognized when they are leaving rather than when they are coming. Fifth one, an opportunity only knocks once. The next one may be better or worse, but never be the same. That is why it is so crucial to make the right decision at the right time. A right decision at the wrong time becomes a wrong decision. Sixth one, the grass on the other side always looks greener. There are two dimensions to the greener grass. A. It may be possible that the other farmer is taking better care of his grass and it is actually greener. B. Most of the time, however, it is only an illusion. Many times in life, while chasing an illusion, we lost out the opportunity right under our own feet. Seventh one. While we are eyeing the grass on the other side, there are others who are eyeing the grass on our side. They would be happy to trade places with us. David and Goliath. We all know the biblical story of David and Goliath. Goliath was a giant of a man. He struck fear in everyone's heart. One day, a 17-year-old shepherd boy came to visit his brothers and asked, "Why don't you fight the giant?" The brothers were terrified of Goliath and replied, "Don't you see, he is too big to hit?" But David said, "No, he is not too big to hit. He is too big to miss." The rest is history. We all know what happened. David killed the giant with the slingshot. Same giant, different perception. Our attitude determines how we look at a setback. To a positive thinker, a setback can be a stepping stone to success. To a negative thinker, it can be a stumbling block. Great thinkers and philosophers feel and believe that every problem comes with an as equal or greater opportunity for success. The importance of attitude to organization. Have you ever wondered why some individuals, organizations or countries are more successful than others? It is not a secret. They simply think and act more effectively. They do so by investing in their most valuable asset, people. I have spoken to executives in mass organizations internationally and asked them a question. If you had a magic wand, there was one thing you could change that would make you more productive. What would it be? Their answers were anonymous. They said they would like to change their people's attitude. With better attitudes, people would be better team players. Cut down on waste, quality, and bottom lines would go up. In general, their company would be a great place to work in. Experience has shown that human resources are the most valuable asset. People are more valuable than capital or equipment. Unfortunately, human resources are also the most wasted of resources. People can be your biggest asset or your biggest liability. TQP, Total Quality People. Having attended a number of training programs such as customer service, selling skills, strategic planning, etc., I have come to the conclusion that most of these are great programs with one major challenge. None of them will work unless they have the right foundation, and the right foundation is TQP. What is TQP? TQP is Total Quality People. They are people with character, integrity, good values and positive attitudes. Don't get me wrong, you don't need this program, but they will only work when you have the right foundation. Total Quality People. For example, some customer service programs teach participants to say please and thank you, smile and shake hands. How long can a person smile if he does not have the desire to serve? Besides, people can always see through a fake smile. When the smile is not sincere, it is irritating. The point is, there has to be a substance over form, not just form over substance. Without a doubt, people who serve customers should say please and thank you, smile and so forth. These things are important, but keep in mind that they come a lot easier when accompanied by a desire to serve. Someone once approached Blaise Pascal, the famous French philosopher, and said, "If I had your brains, I would be a better person." Pascal replied, "Be a better person and you will have my brains." Great organizations are not measured by wages and working conditions. They are measured by the feelings, attitudes and relationships. When employees say, "I can't do this," they are really saying one of two things. Either they are saying, "I don't know how to do it," or "I don't know what to do it." If they are saying, "I don't know how to do it," that is a technical training issue. If they are saying, I don't want to do it," they are again really saying one of two things. Either "I don't care to do it," or I feel strongly enough not to do it. The first one is an attitude issue. The second one is a values issue. We find a greater percentage of challenges all over the world fall into these two categories. Attitude is the foundation to success. The greater the success, the stronger the foundation. The Calgary Tower stands at 190.8 meters. The total weight of the tower is 10,884 tons, of which 6,349 tons are below ground, approximately 60%. This shows that the tallest and the greatest buildings have the strongest foundations. Just like a great building stands on a strong foundation, so does success. And the foundation of success is attitude, a holistic approach. I believe in a holistic approach. We are not just arms and legs, eyes and ears, a brain and a heart, but a complete human being. The whole person goes to work and the whole people comes home. The behaviors don't change. People who are honest at home are honest at work, and people who are dishonest at home are dishonest at work. We take family problems to work and work problems to the family. What happens when we take family problems to work? Our stress level goes up and our productivity comes down. Similarly, work problems do have an impact not only on our families but on every aspect of our life. Personal, professional and social problems are strongly interconnected and impact each other. Factors that determine our attitude. Let me ask you, are we born with attitudes or do we develop them as we mature? What are the factors that form our attitudes? Can attitudes be changed? Most of our attitudes were shaped during our formative years. While we were born with tendencies towards temperaments, there are three factors that largely determine our attitude formation. These are the triple E's of attitude: environment, experience, education. Let's evaluate each of these factors individually. Environment. Environment consists of the following. Home environment. Positive or negative influences start rubbing off on all family members. School environment. Peer pressure. Work environment. Supportive or overcritical environment. Social environment. Media, television, newspapers, magazines, radio, movies, etc. What is socially acceptable or unacceptable starts influencing our attitude. Economic environment. Abject poverty. Can you teach values on an empty stomach? Religious environment. Many times either interpretation or misinterpretation of religion makes people fatalistic. Political environment. All this environment creates a culture. Every place, be it a home, organization or country, has a culture or lack of it. Even lack of it is a culture. For example, if you go to a shop, you may find the salesperson polite, the supervisor polite, the manager polite, the owner polite. You go to another shop and you find the salesperson rude, supervisor rude, manager rude and the owner rude. There is a culture running. Similarly, if you go to a home and you find the kids are courteous, so the parents, even the help is polite. You go to another home, you may find the kids are fighting like cats and dogs, so the parents, even the help is rude. There's another culture running. Culture in any place always goes top down, never bottom up. In countries where there is political uncertainty, people stop thinking long term. They start thinking short term. Their objective becomes to please everybody and fill their pockets today. Because if their pockets are full today, they will be more prepared to face the uncertainties of tomorrow. In countries where the government and political environment is honest, generally you will find that the people are honest, low abounding and helpful. And the reverse is true too. In a corrupt environment, an honest person has a hard time, whereas in an honest environment, a corrupt person has a tough time. In a positive environment, a marginal performer's output goes up. In a negative environment, a good performer's output goes down. We need to step back and look at what kind of environment we have created for ourselves and those around us. It is tough to expect positive behavior in a negative environment. In societies where lawlessness becomes the law, honest citizens become cheats, crooks and dacoits. Take some time to evaluate how the environment that you are in affects you and how the environment created by you affects others. Experience. Events and experiences in life determine our attitude. If we have a positive experience with a person, our attitude towards him is likely to be positive, and conversely, negative experiences tend to make us cautious. Experiences and events become reference points in our lives, and we draw conclusions which serve as guidelines for the future. I teach my grandson to tell the truth. If he sees me lying, he gets somewhat confused initially because he hears one thing and experiences something else. He draws his own conclusions based on his experience, which become his reference points going forward in life. Education. Holistic education ought to teach us not only how to make a living but also how to live. Education refers to both formal and informal education. We are drowning in information but starving for knowledge and wisdom. Strategically applied knowledge translates into wisdom, which in turn translates into success. The role of the educator is vital. A teacher affects eternity. The ripple effect is immeasurable. How do you recognize people with a positive attitude? Just as the absence of ill health does not equal good health, similarly the absence of negativity does not make a person positive. People with positive attitudes have certain personality traits that are easy to recognize. They are caring, confident, patient and humble. They have high expectations of themselves and others. They expect positive outcomes. A person with a positive attitude is like a fruit of all seasons. He is always welcome. The benefits of a positive attitude. There are many benefits of having a positive attitude. The advantages are easy to see, but unfortunately, sometimes what is easy to see is also easy to miss. A positive attitude makes for a pleasing personality, is energizing and invigorating, gives fulfillment and makes life meaningful, inspires oneself and others, helps people become contributing members and assets to society, increases productivity and profits, fosters teamwork and better relationships, solve problems and makes positive decisions, brings pride in performance and improves quality, makes for a congenial atmosphere, breeds loyalty and dependability, reduces stress and increases happiness. In other words, a positive attitude leads to a happy, healthy and prosperous life. The consequences of a negative attitude. Life is an obstacle course and we become our biggest obstacle by having a negative attitude. People with negative attitudes have a hard time keeping friendships, jobs, marriages and relationships. Negative attitudes lead to bitterness, discontentment, a purposeless life, high stress for self and others, resentment, frustration, ill health. Negative attitudes create an unpleasant environment at home, at work and in society. They pass on the negativity to others around them. People with negative attitudes become a liability to society. Do attitudes go from one generation to the next? Absolutely. No wonder we find some families and societies more positive than others. When we become aware of our negative attitude, why don't we change? Human nature generally resists change. Change is uncomfortable. Regardless of whether it is positive or negative, change can often be stressful. Sometimes we get so comfortable with our negativity that even when the change is for better, we don't want to accept it. We prefer to stay with the comfort of the negative. Charles Dickens wrote about a prisoner who was locked up for many years in a dungeon. After serving his sentence, he got his freedom. He was brought out from his cell into the bright daylight of the open world. This man looked all around and after a few months was so uncomfortable with his newly acquired freedom and that he asked to be taken back to the confines of his cell. To him the dungeon, the chains and the darkness were more familiar, secure and comfortable than accepting the change of freedom and an open world. Many modern day prisoners to do same thing. The stresses of having to cope in an unfamiliar world are so great that they may purposely commit another crime in order to be sent back to prison. Another crime in order to be sent back to prison where, though their freedom is restricted, they have fewer decisions to make. If your attitude is negative, your life is restricted. Your success at work will be limited. You will have fewer friends. You will not enjoy life to its fullest. In the next chapter, I'll share you with my thoughts on how you can build a positive attitude. Building a positive attitude will take a lot of hard work and commitment, but would be tremendously rewarding in every area of your life. Thank you. If you like my video, please share, like and subscribe my channel.